here for the first time, I want to remind all our viewers in Pine that, well, I know you cannot hear our questions at the moment. You cannot hear the audience questions. We know about the sound difficulties on your side. It is not a difficulty. We just don't have that many handheld microphones because there are like 5 people talking on the other stage at the moment. So we will have it and we will fix this. And for now, our speakers, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Mic check.
What you doing? Okay, so our speakers will repeat the questions for you so you can be included and maybe not ask the same question twice. And next to me I have Dzmitry. Hello.
Hello.
What you doing? What you represent? What is Rocket Software?
It's a company.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I thought it's a game.
No.
What you do? What your company does?
I'll tell that.
Really? I want to have a conversation. I'm doing nothing. I'm not talking to people. Okay, we're going to talk about open source dashboarding tools. I have a hint here.
Right.
And the main question today is, which one suits you? Well, I never asked this question myself, but maybe I will after this. Okay, Dzmitry, take the stage.
Okay. Okay, great. So hi all, today's talk is about open source dashboarding tools, Grafana and Opensearch Dasboards. We'll try to look at them from the different sides, and at the end of this session you hopefully will understand which one suits you better. But before we start, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Dzmitry Skachkou. I'm a software engineer at Rocket Software. Our company builds products that helps customers to run and modernize their critical infrastructure, as well as create solutions for application and data modernization. And I personally work on infrastructure monitoring. Can you hear me well? Okay, great. Yeah, so let's start. Why Grafana and Opensearch Dashboards? Using both these tools, you can visualize any data you want. In most of the cases, it would be metrics, logs, or traces, but it's also you can also visualize any data you want. For instance, big data statistics. Both of these tools are open source with the community and are currently in development. So we can expect new features and bug fixes to be delivered periodically. And Grafana and Opensearch Dashboards has a big variety of visualizations, so most probably you will find like visualizations that suits you. But if you need some custom UI experience, you can easily extend these tools with the custom functionality. And even if you set up a effective dashboard, effective dashboards, you still don't want to look at it 24/7. You want to set up the alerts and be notified in case something went wrong, and both tools support that. And last thing I want to mention here is that you can manage user permissions, so you can forbid or allow specific user to see only a specific set of dashboards. And that's how these tools look like. They are user interface. On the right, you can see Opensearch Dashboards, and on the left, Grafana. Okay, so today's agenda is we are going to cover the following topics: licensing, data storages, security, extendability, alerting, and navigation. I would rather not spend time talking about visualizing 3 pillars of observability, it's metrics, logs, and traces, but would like to spend time discussing that topics. There are plenty of articles about visualizing these things. Yep. Okay, but before you considering any tool to use, you need to understand under which license it's distributed. Opensearch Dashboard is Apache 2.0 licensed, and it's well-known permissive license that allow users to use software for any purpose, to distribute it, to modify it, to distribute modified version of the software under the term of license without concern for royalties. And it also does not require to disclose the code modifications. But on the other side, Grafana, which has 2 different licenses, GPL-v3 and Enterprise. GPL-v3 is the strong copyleft license that requires all Grafana source code modifications to be disclosed. But this license does not affect plugins, so plugins are still under Apache 2.0. And another one license is Enterprise, which is a paid one, and it contains like all features from the Enterprise and some advanced features on top of it, like team sync, reporting, and many more. I will cover that later. And let's now talk about the supported data storage types for these tools. So Grafana supports many different data storages via data source plugin, and this plugin queries data storages and then convert the response into the format that's understandable by Grafana. Some of the dashboarding, some of the data source plugins supported by Grafana team, and they are available out of the box in open source version of Grafana. For instance, the data source plugin for Prometheus. Some of the plugins are supported by community, and they're available to download via Grafana catalog, and such as Opensearch data source plugin for Opensearch. If you use the enterprise version of the Grafana, you can use enterprise data source plugins, and the example of those is data source plugins for MongoDB and DB2. And if you have in-house metric solution and you haven't found any available data source plugin that suits your need, you can create your custom data source plugin and extend Grafana with it. Also, I would like to mention that all data source plugin in Grafana can support streaming capabilities. It means that data will be pushed directly to the Grafana panel as soon as it appears. On the other hand, Opensearch works only with Opensearch Dashboards works only with Opensearch, and the example of the setup might be that FluentBit and OpenTelemetry Collector get the data and metrics and logs from the application and push that to Data Preparer Logstash for the further ingested to Opensearch. And Opensearch dashboards already visualize data directly from the Opensearch. I would like to mention that Opensearch and Opensearch dashboards are deep integrated between each other, and you can manage a lot of features from Opensearch directly from the web browser. And Opensearch dashboard does not have streaming capabilities. It means that only periodic polling from the client side is supported. Okay, so the next topic is security. Security is important nowadays in companies where there are a lot of users and stakeholders. You don't want all users to see all data, and this holds true even for metrics, logs, and traces. You still want only a specific user to see specific data. And in Opensearch dashboards and in Opensearch, security is managed by security plugin, and this plugin supports various authentication methods such as LDAP, OpenID Connect, SAML, and many more. And this plugin even supports authentication method chaining. It means that you can configure multiple authentication methods and assign them the order. And the authentication plugin will try to authenticate the user against each until one succeeds. Another important feature is role-based access control, and you can easily map your authentication system roles with roles from Opensearch dashboards. And another feature I want to talk is audit logs. You can configure what data to send to log, how detailed it should be, and where to store these logs inside Opensearch index or in some external data storage. And next feature is multi-tenancy. I would like to cover it a bit more. So multi-tenancy enables you to organize your Opensearch dashboards object in a meaningful way. And the tenants are actually spaces for saving dashboards, visualizations, index patterns, and all other saved objects. And each tenant is stored in a separate Opensearch index, and they are completely independent of each other. And it imposes some certain limitations. For instance, it's really hard to manage the security in case of a really big team or dashboards hierarchy. So, for instance, you have the two teams, and both these teams use only some specific set of dashboards that they are only use. And you're good to go. You just create two separate tenants and allow both teams to see them. And then you realize that you need the third set of dashboard that should be available for the both team. right? You create the tenant, third tenant, and allow both teams to see it. That's great. But then third team appears, and they need to have access only to specific subset of this of the third tenant dashboards. What you need to do that, you need to separate the third tenant into two, allow both first and second team to see both tenants, and for the third one, give access only to specific. And as you can see, like, it's really hard to manage if you have many dashboard sets and a lot of teams. And another point I want to mention is that you cannot list all dashboards from all available tenants. So you can see at the same point of time only dashboards that is this specific tenant. So it's sometimes hard to find dashboard that needs. And security in Grafana, it's possible to manage security per folder or even per dashboard. And you can achieve it by assigning different permission types to the user: server-wide, organization, and dashboard and folder. And organization, specific dashboard, and folder permissions have also roles: admin, editor, and viewer roles. And also, when you configure the data source plugin or alert notifications, you provide some secrets to Grafana. And you can provide some secrets to Grafana, and these secrets are, before they're written to the database, are encrypted using AES symmetric encryption algorithm. And let's talk about the Grafana Enterprise. Grafana Enterprise has all features from the open source version of Grafana, but also on top of it, it has some advanced features like team sync, role-based access control, and audit logs. Team sync allows you to synchronize the your authentication provider groups with the your Grafana teams. And role-based access control is really powerful in Grafana. You can allow manage permissions for the almost every Grafana resource for a specific user. And combining these two, role-based access control and team sync, you can take advantage of your authentication system to manage permissions in Grafana. Audit logs are available only in Grafana Enterprise, and you can configure where to store them inside the file, send it to the Loki, or send it to Grafana default logger, but the last option is not recommended for production use. Okay, so right now we talked about like data source dashboards level security, but we're also interested in data level security. And in Grafana, data level security is managed per data storage itself. And you can, if you need some third-party authentication, you can configure data source proxy, or you can write your own backend plugin to support that. And one specific thing I want to mention is that in open source version of Grafana, you cannot manage, you cannot forbid users to query some specific dashboards. So they can query dashboards you can query the data from any available data source plugins. And only in Grafana Enterprise you can manage that. And on the other hand, OpenSearch Dashboards, because it's really deep integrated with OpenSearch, has index, document, and even field level security, which is really powerful. And you can manage that permissions from the OpenSearch Dashboards via security plugin application. Okay, extendability is the next topic. You may think about creating your own plugin when you don't have functionality you need. For instance, available visualizations are not enough, and you need some custom UI experience to visualize your data. And in general, plugins are separated on visualization, data source, and application plugins. Visualization plugin allows to visualize data in some specific way, for instance, time series, bar chart, or heat map. Data source plugin adds support for the different data storages. And application plugin allows to create a custom out-of-the-box experience. The example of the application plugins might be monitoring plugin and observability plugins in OpenSearch Dashboards. Okay, so let's look at the customization options available in both tools. You can create visualization plugin without any limitation. And visualization plugin consists of two different components: the visualization itself and its configuration. Both of these components should be written in React. Okay, but what about the data source plugin? Data source Grafana can be extended with the data source plugin, and it's contain also two components. Might contain two components. First one is a client side, which is should be also written in React, and the second one is optional server side component. Grafana server runs each backend plugin as a separate sub-process and communicates with it over gRPC. And Grafana source code, server-side code itself is written in Go. Grafana team created an SDK for Go that abstracts plugin protocol and RPC communication so that we as the plugin developers don't need to care about that. And but however, if you want to write your backend plugin in any other language, it's possible to do if this language supports gRPC. And what's about the OpenSearch dashboards? As already said, OpenSearch dashboards is designed to work only with OpenSearch, so you cannot visualize data from any other external data storage without prior adding this data in OpenSearch. Okay, and application plugins. Application plugins can be created in both tools and can contain any content. The client side should be written in React for the both tools as well, but the server side. Currently, Grafana does not supports only backend components for data source plugins, and it means that for the application plugin, we cannot have dedicated server-side code. However, I found in their documentation that they are planning to support different types of backend plugins in the future. And OpenSearch dashboard server-side code is written in Node.js, and it's easy to extend if needed. Here I would like to demonstrate how demonstrate integration of the data source plugin into Grafana. When you are configuring when you're creating a panel, you need to define at least one query, and the query editor area is highlighted on the on the top screenshot. Each data source plugin has its own query editor component that provides the best experience to define the query for this specific data storage. And this is should be also a React component, which is a part of data source plugin. Also, for each dashboard, you can define the variables or simply say filters. They are highlighted on the bottom screenshot. Grafana supports various variables types such as query variables and ad hoc filters, and you can dynamically filter data on your dashboard using these variables. Like every Grafana plugin can support it, these variables, so you should good to go. I already mentioned that data source plugin can support streaming capabilities, but they also can support logs. By enabling logs property in Grafana data source plugin configuration. This would tell Grafana that logs can be visualized using the logs visualization. The next topic is alerting. Alerts are really like important part of any monitoring system because they can tell us when things go wrong and when things need human attention. For instance, something crashes or your application consumes too many resources. In OpenSearch dashboards, there is a monitoring plugin that allows you to configure alerts. But first of all, let's understand what monitor is. Monitor is the job that runs on defined schedule and queries OpenSearch indexes. And I've prepared a simplified diagram that shows how per query monitors work. So the first state is that a monitor waits for the next scheduled execution, and when time has come, monitor executes a query you defined, and it sends when it receives the response, it sends the query to the trigger, and trigger evaluates if the defined trigger condition met or not. If not, then we monitor just wait for the next cycle. But if the trigger condition met, then alert is generated, and all actions associated with the monitor are executed. And the example of the action might be sending the notification by email. And only after that we are waiting for the next execution cycle. Also, I would like to mention the important feature such as findings. Finding is an entry of the metadata found by per document monitor query. Findings are stored in a separate OpenSearch index, and One of the use cases that security analytics can look at, can keep track of and analyze query data separately from the alerting process. Opensearch Dashboard supports notification via email, and for all other notification types such as Slack, you will need to define the webhook URL. And one thing I want to point is that it's impossible to visualize current alert state in a dashboard. So it means it's possible to see the current state only in some dedicated page in monitoring plugin, and you will need to switch between your dashboard and this page to see all data you need. Another important topic feature that monitoring plugin has is anomaly detection. Anomaly detection helps you find unusual behavior in your time series data. For instance, anomaly in your memory usage metric might help you identify early sign of a system failure. This comparing with the alerts that based on a static threshold. Anomaly detection is adaptive to the data that have organic growth or seasonal behavior, and this feature detects anomalies in the near real time using random cut forest algorithm. Okay, Grafana also has alerting feature as well, and it's compatible only with data source plugin that has a backend component and alerting feature enabled. One of the important feature I would like to mention is the grouping. You can group common alerts into groups, and this means that only a single alert would be fired for the whole group with the information about every single alert. Another feature is silencing. You can pause the alert notifications for one or more alert rules, and silences last only for a specified time interval. And one of the use cases might be for stopping alert notifications for regular maintenance period. And yeah, it's possible to visualize alerts in a dashboard using alert list visualization, so we can see all needed data in your dashboards. However, there are some limitations in alerting for Grafana. One of them is that it has limited rule sources support. It means that Grafana can receive alerts only from its internal alert manager or alert manager compatible data storages such as Prometheus, Mimir, or Loki. And the second limitation is that it's alert generator but not an alert receiver. So yeah, this means that Grafana can receive alerts only from its internal alert generator and cannot receive alerts from other data storages such as Prometheus. Okay, so let's look at the navigation options available in both tools. When you have a set of related dashboards, you want to go from one dashboard to another to see related data. And in Grafana, you have it's possible to achieve that by defining the different dashboard link types. There are dashboard link type and link type. Dashboard link type allows you to list all available dashboards in Grafana in a drop-down as a separate links on the dashboard. But the second option is not so convenient when you have a lot of links, because they may consume a lot of space on the screen. With the link type, you can point to some specific dashboard by specifying its relative path, and you can have multiple link types per dashboard. But the problem with that is if you remove the dashboard or you move it to the different folder, the link will be broken without any visual indication. On the other side, Opensearch Dashboards preserve all applied filters within the session, and so you can use Markdown visualization to create the dashboard links by also specifying its relative path. The same problem is applied for the link type in Grafana. If you remove the dashboard, the link will be still visible without any visual indication that it's broken. Another one topic I want to bring in here is the drill down. Drill down is a possibility to grow from more general view into more detailed one by clicking the link. In Opensearch Dashboards, Opensearch Dashboard does not have drill down functionality. However, you can configure scripted fields to behave as a link. It will work only in some simple use cases and is not flexible enough. And I would like to mention that each scripted field is a separate, is additional column. So if you want to have multiple links, they may consume a lot of space on the screen. Also, I would like to mention that it's not a straightforward task to configure the scripted field. It's not related to the dashboard, but it's related to the index pattern and should be configured on a completely different page. Another one struggle might be is that you need to construct the new URL with the additional filters from the data row by writing a script in a painless language, which is not good. And they found a GitHub issue with the drill down feature request in the GitHub, and even mockups are ready. But I haven't found that there's this issue in their roadmap. But still, this functionality might be released soon. In Grafana, on the other hand, drill down is supported out of the box. You can have multiple links per chart, or per chart, like per bar or per line. And in the table, currently it's supported only one link per cell. But yeah, I also found the GitHub issue that shows that with the request of adding multiple links per cell support. Okay, let's summarize what we've talked about. The biggest limitation of Opensearch dashboard is support only Opensearch as a data storage. And but if it's okay in your specific use case, then in addition you have a deep integration with Opensearch and possibility to manage its feature from the web browser. Powerful security plugin, anomaly detection feature might be also a good points for choosing the Opensearch dashboards. However, the lack of drill down functionality and the difficulties in managing tenants for the huge team or dashboards hierarchy might be crucial points to gain Opensearch dashboards in your specific use case. Also, there are good points in favor of Grafana, such as different data storage support, streaming capabilities, drill down functionality, and alerts features such as grouping or silencing. So as you can see, Opensearch dashboards and Grafana are really powerful tools with their own peculiarities, features and limitations, and you need to evaluate all of them for your specific use case and choose one or another. Yep, so thank you, that's it. It's Q&A session.
Yep. I was about to ask, why are you not clapping? Was it not fun? Was it not informative? What's happening? One thing I want to ask you and all other speakers, nobody's listening to me right now, but okay. We need your Twitter handle. If it's not included in the slides, people are asking all over the internet every single time, after every single session, like, what is your Twitter handle, where to find you, where to tag you, I want to talk about you, I want to stuff like that, so...
Yeah, I have only LinkedIn. Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of comments, but they are not ethical enough to say out loud. Okay, do we have questions in the audience? You better have at least one. We can talk about his shoe size. I don't care. Like, we need a question. You scratched your nose. I will take that as a hand raise. So, what's your question? Your question.
Yeah, okay.
What was the question?
Okay, so the question is why Grafana and Opensearch dashboards, and why I haven't talked about any alternatives. And yeah, that's a good question.
I told you, good question. Like, you just need to motivate them to ask.
Yeah.
Get
Ask
ready.
Good questions.
I'm coming.
Yeah. So I've just forgot to mention that maybe like some of you don't know that Opensearch dashboards is the fork of Kibana version 7.10, and right now they have their own features. So why those tools? Because all others available visualization tools does not have some features that are available in the open source version. We in the company really care about the security, and we need the drill down functionality and all this stuff. And in Kibana, for example, they have also multiple licenses, but in open source version of the Kibana, some of the features that they have in more advanced licensed stuff, it's not supported. We cannot have per index, per document, or per field level security, for example. The tenants, I think it also has limited support in Grafana, and as I remember, links also may have some limitations in open source version. That's why we are talking about OpenSearch dashboards, but not about the Kibana here.
Okay, thank you for that. Any more questions? I saw some people intensely scratching their noses after that, so I can take that as the same invitation, talking about you. But any real questions, like ready questions? Anybody's feeling curious? No? Okay, I'm coming in. What's your question? Who's that? You're talking to me? Yeah, what's going on? I'm not even asking you to stand up. Just ask the question. I don't know. What's the weather gonna be tomorrow? Anything. Are you not a curious person? We all have questions.
Yes, Splunk is not open sourced at all, as I can recall, and we were focused on open source versions, OpenSearch Dasboards tools. Yep, that's why.
Okay, that was a lame question. That was a lame question. The answer could have been longer. Okay, any real questions for the end, or are we ready? I know why I'm not asking questions. We have a lunch break in 5 minutes. Everybody's mind on the food.
Right.
Nothing is going on. So, so for women, it's not scratching the nose, it's adjusting the hair. I understand y'all shy, but let's try taking the hand. Oh, come on, a real question, shout it out. I didn't hear you, he didn't hear you even more.
Query language, okay. The query language for the Grafana depends on the data source plugin you chose. For example, it supports various data source plugins, and each, as I told, here, I think, let me. Yep. So, for example, in Grafana, each data source plugin. So you choose a data source plugin here, and it can be Elastic, OpenSearch, Prometheus, and any other data storages. And each of these plugins has their own query editor components that basically allows you to set up a query in more how they defined for this specific data storage. And in OpenSearch dashboards, it's just some queries for OpenSearch, and they have some SQL adapter. They have their own PPL language as well. It's really easy to learn and use. And I think in most of the cases, when you define the dashboards, you will use them, or they released I think a few versions ago the drag and drop functionality, so you can just drag the columns you want, some filters, and define a query in this way. Hopefully, I answered your question. Thank you.
We see a thumbs up. Thank you very much. We had a question there. I know. I can see. I have a very peripheral vision. Is that a word in English? I think so. What's your question? I told you nobody heard about your company. You didn't want to talk about it. Come on.
Yeah, I'm working.
So the question for the Pine is, once again, what is Rocket Software?
Yeah,
it's not Rocket League.
No, it's a company that...
Rocket League is also a company, in some way.
Yep, so Rocket Software is the amazing company I'm working on. And yeah, as already said, I should repeat it one more time. We are building the products that help our customers to run and to run our critical infrastructure and modernize it as well. And yeah, so we are working with not only with like, I specifically work with web stack development, but yeah, there are a lot of mainframe technologies on our company. So yeah, it's really interesting. So you can find like what you like in the company. So you can be the backend, you can be the mainframe developer, or you can be the front-end developer as well. So wherever you want, you will find the job. Thank you.
That sounded like an offer for hires, you know, more like that. Yes, what's your question?
Well, I'm not sure. Like they are try to be as much better as they can in the mobiles, but still you have a bunch of visualizations. And for example, for the time series chart, when you have like a lot of time series, if you like make it really small, then it will be overlap. Or if we'll just remove some data like time points from that, you will not see like the whole data you want. So yeah, dashboards in general, it's good to have them on the widescreen, such as that one, for example. So to have more information on the screen. But I think on the mobiles they still work. I'm not sure if you will see all data that you're interested in the charts at least.
Okay, let me do this.
Oh.
We have Pine questions, and I have this one. This viewer is my favorite so far. His questions are the best. He's the one that wrote "nice talk." I clapped from home in the last session. The question is: so, what's his shoe size?
44.
Girl, same. But I have, like, you know, Martens. They look even bigger. I think we answered the most important question of the day, and we have lunch in 4 minutes. Any more questions going on? Nope, thank God. Just on time. Dzmitry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
A little bit more applause for him, and I'll see you around 2 p.m. after lunch.